Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. I love you all. My name is MiAh the King, and I had a joke about construction, but I'm still working on it. Also, yes, I'm still sick, but very slowly getting better, so I apologize for the quality of my voice in this video. Now then, thanks so much for clicking on my video, and please stick around. I've got funny jokes. It can help you figure out if you need this game in 10 minutes or less. I'll prove it. So, today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called StarCrafter, an open-world survival crafting game with a unique idea. Build, survive, and create your own solar system, basically, or so we've been promised. So it's an interesting idea, and I'm ready to jump in. StarCrafter was developed and published by TBJBoo2, I think I'm saying that right, released in early access and selling for $20. So what even is this game anyway? Well, who knows? There's no plot, no story, no purpose, no anything. You're just plopped down somewhere and then expected to create a universe, I guess. So without further ado, let's go into the good and the bad, shall we? So, first up for the good is the gameplay. Now I have to start with this because it'll explain everything else. So the gameplay here is actually quite legit. It's fairly simple. The only stat you need to keep an eye on is your hunger. If it gets to 0, then you'll start to lose your health. But the overall idea of this game is to literally build and customize your own solar system. I'm not too sure how much customization is there yet right now, because right now it just seems like you're building, but still. The reason why this is in the pros, despite being a very simple game, is because of the creativity, which is another positive point, but I'm getting ahead of myself. What can you do in this game? Well, you could dig through the ground and make tunnels. You can also refine ores and do lots of mining and stuff. You can harvest berry bushes for strawberries to maintain nutrition. Oh, and you can build intergalactic gadgets like Dyson rings around your sun. I mean, that's pretty cool right there. You can also eventually build your own spaceship. And eventually, even more, you can build your own freaking moon rocket and launch it up and then build your own moon. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty creative and unique right there. And then you can eventually do like with your moon, but except build another planet. But this is a lot more complicated and takes a lot more time, so I haven't been able to do that yet. Sorry, I can't show it yet. But then after creating the moon, you can hop in your spaceship, go fly to your moon, land, and start harvesting the rare resources that are now on it. I mean, that's only an inkling of the creativity and the expansiveness of what is capable in this game, and I gotta say, I was loving it. I was enthralled by it. The gameplay is super simple and yet super creative and unique. I've seen a lot of games do stuff like this before, Planet Crafter and whatnot, you know, but this is so completely different and otherworldly that really helps it to stand out. I love standing on my moon and just looking back at my own planet. Like, it's crazy how cool this is. And honestly, I can't wait to see what else I can do. It's freaking incredible. But like I said, the gameplay is super simple. Dig this, mine that, refine this, build that. And that's all there is to it. The devs even pointed out on the Steam store page that there will never be any combat and never be any sense in terms of actual scientific fact being applied here, which, honestly, I'm okay with. The next positive point I'd like to talk about is the creativity. Now, I kind of already went into this, so I won't be here long, but like I said, I've seen a bunch of different terraforming style games and planet crafting types of games, but I've yet to see one or play one that felt like this. Due to its simplistic gameplay, it allows you to truly focus on what you came here for, and that's the building of your own solar system from a first-person perspective. So the creativity and how they implemented all the different functions was really unique and well done. The next positive point I'd like to talk about is the controls and the user interface, the UI. It's decent enough. Despite the kind of game that you're playing, it's not super complicated or hard to navigate or understand. As for the controls, they're also simple enough. They make sense and work well enough for what you're doing, and they work the way you want them to. I had no issues with either of these things while playing, so as far as I'm concerned, they're good enough to be in the positives. And last but not least for the positives is the stability. I was legit surprised by how stable and smooth the gameplay was. The game was running smooth as butter. It's great, which really helped me to relax and just enjoy the gameplay and the creativity here. Like, it never crashed, froze, clipped, or broke in any way, shape, or form, so I loved how stable it was. Good deal, game devs, good deal. Alright, but that's all I can think of to say positively about the game. Now we're going to go on to the negatives. But do me a favor, and if you're finding this video entertaining or at least informative, then why not drop a like and hit that subscribe button? I mean, come on, I'm sick and still putting out this content for you guys, so show me some love, would you? Alright, now on to the negatives. The first negative for me was the graphics. Now don't get me wrong, the game's not ugly or anything. In fact, most of the time it does look pretty decent, but it's not super amazing or anything. That title screen alone was super lackluster and boring. As for the rest of the game, it's fairly standard. I suppose they do have some decent color design choices and decent contrast, but overall I found the graphics to be a bit lackluster. Not a huge flaw, but still a minor one, and that's why it's here in the negatives. Next up is the sound design. The music is kind of boring and uncreative. I was expecting more wonder and merriment for this kind of game. The sound effects are the same. Not much else I could say. They're just, I mean, they kind of do the job, but they were very unimpressive and boring. I don't have a lot more to say about it than that. The next negative for me was the price tag. I mean, when I think about everything here and the fact that it's early access, I feel like the game might just be a bit overpriced. Maybe worth 15 bucks. I don't see it being worth $20 at time of release. Perhaps when it's fully released, it could even be a $30 game, but right now, with that poor title screen, with the lack of details, ambiance, and flashing colors, I mean, I could keep going. I just don't see it being worth the $20. It's a cool, unique idea, sure, but there's not a whole lot else there, you know what I mean? But not a huge deal. Just drop it $5 during early access and we'll call it good. And last but not least for the negatives was the gameplay. Kinda. Now, I mostly mentioned the gameplay as good, and for the most part it is, but it does have a few flaws that are quite annoying that I'll talk about now. The first is that for some reason stone is the rarest of all resources on your planet, which is odd, and unlike all the other resources, it doesn't respawn. It's also needed for a lot of stuff, so that can get really annoying really quick. Especially because you have to dig through the planet to find it, and there's no way of finding it except just exploring, so it takes you a while to find it as well. Then you've got the fact that because of how this game works, you'll constantly find yourself sitting around doing nothing with nothing else to do. Your furnaces are smelting, your rockets are creating the Dyson rings, and there's just nothing else, so you just sit and wait. In fact, there's quite a lot of sitting and waiting. And then of course there's the simplicity of it all. For some, that may be a bit too simple. I found zero reason to build a base, and couldn't figure out if I even could build a base, or a house, or anything. No reason, no obvious way to do so I just didn't, which kind of hurt the game a little bit in my opinion as well, because why not? I mean, it lets you smooth out the terrain and make it nice and flat, so why not let me do that and then build a house on it? But that's pretty much all I could think of to say negatively about the game, and honestly, those aren't even that bad. That was me nitpicking. I won't go out and say that this is the newest, most creative, fun, awesome Planet Crafter game out there, but it's not terrible either. It's unfinished. As an early access game, that's to be expected. Overall, I was finding it rather engaging, as there was always something more I needed to progress to, and each new thing was super interesting. Creating a spaceship? I mean, come on, flying around and looking at my planet from the moon I created, gathering power from the Dyson rings I created, and soon gathering resources from a planet I also created. Like, the idea here is super cool. The implementation of the idea is super cool. And yeah, the game might be just a few bucks overpriced in my opinion, but overall, I think it's a fairly safe investment, and it looks like it could really turn into a pretty cool, unique little game. I give it a thumbs up. It has its issues, but what early access game doesn't? Add some more base building mechanics, some more stuff to do while you're waiting, and make it multiplayer, and I'll revisit it with my wife in tow, alright game devs? So, do I recommend it? Well, if this is your kind of thing, then yeah, definitely I recommend it. I mean, it's pretty cool, and it's a very different experience from what we normally get, so yeah, I'd encourage people to check it out just for the experience alone. But that's all the time I got for this video, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, with a special thanks to those of you who stuck around to the end. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'm going back to bed. Good night.